Worrying how to get this number. I'm Atlas 4. And I am re-recording this audio. Hooty floopty floo. Doo. Basically, there was a situation where I uploaded the incorrect video because I stuck the wrong video inside of download seemingly after I rendered it for the second time. I just lost it, I guess, in the sauce. I was trying to... It's a thing, Bob. Either way, ignorant of what I did or did not edit, set up, and hook up, I stuck something through Flowblade, assumed that that was the correct video, and then rendered that, stuck it in downloads, and then sent that up to YouTube as an experiment to see whether or not it would work properly. Or at least I think that's that's what I thought I did. That's not what I did. I stuck a pre-video in there and I didn't render it. Or maybe I did render it. Both are actually possibilities because it didn't have audio, and yet it cleanly went to YouTube and was detectable. So yeah, I just rendered the wrong chunk. I did not render the edited version. I rendered the pre-edited version, and yes, I'm realizing this in real time. And that means that there was no audio for YouTube to detect because Flowblade can't recognize dual audio outputs, which is why I need to edit it first in Kdenlive, and then render it in Kdenlive, and then re-render it in Flowblade so that I get a full render. Welcome to my life. Yeah, I'm feeling salty. I'll bring you into how my morning went, just a little bit, just so that you can kind of get some context on what happened. But before I get into all that and you get invested in what this video that I've been talking about losing the audio on is, I am going to give you that this is a seizure risk video. Okay, it's like 18 times speed or something stupid like that. Okay, this is a very much sped up video. This is not one for the sensitive of Flash. Shall we refer to it like that? And yes, I'm saying that as someone who has a relationship to flashes myself. Okay. Um, Not the weird kind, just the, flashing lights kind. I do have a relationship with flashing lights myself. So that is what that is. But still, it shouldn't be safe. So be aware. Yadder yadder. Flooper flumper. Shaking hands. Scary video. Either way, when it comes down to it, my morning. Okay? Because this is all about me. Yesterday, I woke up. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I think I woke up. Yeah. I woke up early, like 3 minutes early, because my cat woke me up 3 minutes early. And she was crying like the heavens above were falling, and that she would never wake up if she did not wake up 3 minutes early. Okay. My cat woke me up at 5:27 in the morning. So that's how that one went. And then I woke up. And there was one of those nice little updates to Snowbreak. You know, one of those things. You get a gacha game, it's server based, and sometimes they give you a little something here and there. Okay? Do you know what they gave me? A refund from my skin because they censored it. So my morning started rough. And then later on in the middle of the morning, I found out that my video had no audio. So I went on there going, oh man, I must have rendered it badly or something. And that is apparently correct. Because I rendered the entirely incorrect video. Because YouTube doesn't accept videos with two audio tracks. I remember that. That was an accident that happened one time. For some reason, one of my videos rendered with the same audio in two different tracks. Or as actually just a duplicated audio to a second track. Kdenlive was a fun ride for a certain period of time for me, okay? Again, there's a reason why I'm using Flowblade right now. Give it what you like. It can't really separate out the audio tracks if it's not designed to even be capable of that function. So, with that all in mind, yesterday was a bit of a ride. There was a bunch of things that were going on, a lot of them painful, a lot of them decent. Like, I got refunded equivalently, so I could actually afford one of the newer skins that I actually wanted. It was still nerfed. Okay. They still had to cover things up, apparently, because, you know, yesterday had its ups and downs, a bunch of downs, and a few ups. So it was a rough day for me. Also, the reason why I have to re-record the audio is because I did a TMP folder clear. It's just one of those things that I have to do because I have a very small memory disk. So it can get very much clogged up, especially since I do like to save my rendered videos that are completely edited. Just in case, magic happens, the ultimate platform really gets dropped. Okay. One that's not only actually capable of helping old content creators and new content creators, but also is green. Unfortunately, that did not drop, and instead we got Rumble, which really just helps old content creators. Which, I mean, it's important to have that kind of place, but that is kind of what it does. Okay, people go there for an archive of their favorite content. It's like when a YouTuber makes their own, like, .org. They usually do that just to archive. They don't do it to grow, really. So, I went there to grow. That was my mistake. It's perfectly fine. But let's get to the video before I bore you out with my logistics and loony binniness. So, we're going to basically be making a background that I thought would be for my computer, but I'm going to need an exterior app to do that. And some of those are just kind of weird on how they're designed. Like, one of them was online only. Like, it was weird. I guess I have to make a live wallpaper that's a separate file from my GIF. Maybe? I'm not sure. Either way, the point is, things don't make sense right now, but they are what they are. So, we're going to be pressing play on the video that is actively speaking relevant. I'm going to hook all that stuff up so that I can show you the background GIF that I made. I did actually make it a GIF because I figured out that you could make a GIF. It's its own mess. But making it into a GIF was a bit of a rough experience. I can kind of get into some details, although I also recorded the mouse video before this one. So, I'm going to explain it twice in two different videos. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to get Blender up and running and start up the video. It's all set up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actively speak and give myself a countdown for the editing version of me to actively speak and know what's going on. I probably don't really even need to include this. I might not. So I'm going to, actually no, I usually like to give a little bit of a heads up to people. So I'm going to give it 3, 2, 1. Good old 3, 2, 1. And actively speaking, once that 3, 2, 1's up, basically what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to use my classic transition, which is the green light transition, the one that blacks out the screen and covers it with my icon, because marketing's a beautiful thing when you need to cover something up. Either way, we're going to actively speak and press play in 3, 2, 1. Also, it needs to sound a little bit more happy. Okay. I dropped down a plane and I started configuring out the color because I wanted to figure out what the color that I wanted was, and I wanted to set up the lighting. Then I set up a cylinder because I wanted to, actively speaking, have kind of a wire that went through the whole thing because I felt like that looked cool and it adds some depth to have it be an actual, like, half cylinder that goes into the surface itself. So I was like, oh, I'll just combine that with the plane, right? That didn't work that way. But for right now, I'm dealing with trying to add a not a cylinder, an ellipses to the end of the cylinder to try and get the background to look nice. And to give a little bit of a nest to put something, because again, I actually like the look of my icon, so I dump it everywhere. So you can guess what I'm putting in there. But actively speaking, if you couldn't guess before, I'm about as blunt as a like 12 gauge hammer, whatever the crap you'd want to call me right now. It's not actually that blunt. It's not like not blunt, but it's like 12 gauge is like a measurement for a shotgun shell. Either way, let's say a 5 foot in diameter hammer. I'm about as blunt as a 5 foot in diameter hammer. Does that work better? Either way, when it comes down to it, we're working on the nest thingamabob to try and get it to be an actual ellipses, or at least look like an ellipses. It's not actually an ellipses, it's actually a multi-face polygon, which is a joke set on detail. I know, and it's actually a pretty decent joke, so I mean, I don't really mind that it's in there. Either way, it is one of those things, though, that this is not actually an ellipses, but if I do it just right, it looks almost like an ellipses. That's what I'm aiming for. Now, actively speaking, I'm trying to get it done just right at the end because that's kind of the difficult part. And right now it looks a little bit odd, but trust me, it'll make sense in a good while. I'm messing around with colors at that point to try and get the color proper. I think this is a decent one. I don't stick with it, but I think it's a decent one for now. So that's what I roll with. Of course, it just bonked the back wall. I'm sorry about that if you heard that. Didn't mean to do that. Um, and I'm trying to set this up like a plane. Now, it's to be noted the camera work on this is just me recording it as from OBS itself. So, because I'm recording it from OBS and not from Blender itself, it doesn't really have that many perspectives, and it's set up to kind of be looking from the camera's perspective. Partially for my sake, because I want to know what's actually being rendered, and you can see the camera boundary right there. Okay, that's the camera boundary. I'm about to have a very rough relationship with that camera boundary. Okay, it is not a fun time to deal with that thing. You can see it right there. It's at the top. Okay, I could not figure out how many frames that thing was in. I just thinking let it be after a certain point. It's the pumpkin spice inside of my stinking video if you give a metric grab. It's the thing that makes it special. It's a little broken. Just like me. When it comes down to it. So yeah. I stuck in the icon into my stinking build, and I'm currently trying to work and get it looking nice. I've cleaned it up a little bit. I also shaded it smooth 2 times and decided not to do that. Later on, I actively changed that decision, but for now, I don't know that you can auto smooth to 15 degrees. Apparently, that's a nice thing to do to your blends. I just chose 15 degrees arbitrarily, and it worked very well, so I stuck with it. There's probably a better degree system. I just stuck with 15 degrees because 15 degrees worked. Either way, now I'm trying to figure out how to properly smooth out or shape the actual tube that's coming out so that it looks like it's like drawing power or data from the icon. Also, the icon's floating inside the nest. That was kind of one of those things that I thought would look cool, and I think it works very well. Although it is a funny thing that there's a few things that I mess up with later on when I finally figure out how to make the GIF. It's a whole stinking mess. Either way, I'm currently trying to figure out how to make indirect lighting using the bloom effect in Blender, which is kind of like not easy. It's not a fun time. But actively speaking, after a certain point, I sit down and I just decide, no. But right now, I'm trying to work on highlights. So, since I'm working on highlights, that's what I'll focus in on. And there's where the RGB comes in. It's a nice RGB background. The system was originally set up to. It's its own mess. But it's RGB. It's set up with red, green, blue, magenta, yellow, and such. And did that thing just skip? Am I skipping flames? That thing looked like it did a massive skip. Oh, I'm messing with the sizes to try and get it to look just right and proportion just right. Of course, there's a little bit of silliness going on because I'm trying to work with a silly shape on the top left. And I caused the file effect at the bottom to kind of look like a black so that it, actively speaking, looked nice. And I'm messing around with the size of the icon nests to try and make that look nice and such. And I'm adding in these lines, which you can see an error that occurred in it inside of the actual line structure. I'm probably going to try and clarify that again, but I don't think I can at this point. But it's basically, it's in the first divide from the icon. Or not, it's the second divide from the icon. So if you go to the icon, there's one divide that goes into the tube, and the second divide in the tube, there's a line error. And then, again, this time I'm working with exterior lighting, so a separate object to light the actual structure to get the indirect lighting effect. You can see that there, and it's working quite well. So that's what I went with to get the lighting effect that I was hoping for. Sorry. Blah. But I could speak English instead of ingot or whatever the crap I'm saying. I messed around with that. A big issue that I ran into inside of the lighting, though, is when the lighting ran into each other. Also, when I stuck it outside of the lighting box that I was trying to stick it in, like that happened right there. I just like what just happened. So, sorry, my little baby down there is getting a little bit pouty because I'm not giving her the attention she wants. Sorry, lasagna. Also, she's trying to dig to China. You'll see how that works. I don't think you want to dig to there. I've set up the lighting a little bit better there. The indirect lighting's showing a lot nicer than it actually is. I don't really know how to get it much better than what I've got it right now. But that lighting looks nice. Either way, with that lighting stuff set up and all that stuff, I then decided to make sure that the icon was actually a separate object so I could just take it out and put it back because I kind of like that idea. So this is kind of a dock for me to bring the icon out if I ever want to make something with it. I just duplicate it from there. And there that is. Okay, I'm probably going to make an image of that and slowly transition in from there. And there we are. It's actively speaking a done transition. It's been made, and I've even turned it into a GIF. Give me a second. I actually do want to use the old GIF for this so that you can see the new GIF in the next video. But it looks like this. This is what the old GIF looks like. It's very noisy, very crappy. I can give you a frame of the new GIF. Right? Just a little bit for a taste. Yeah, but I'll let it have... I already put up a seizure warning, so I can probably flash this real quick. So give me a second. There we go. There we go. That's what you get. Till the next video, where I kind of use that as more of a background for this. And that's really what I'm ending up using it for. I think I'm going to use it as a background for my actual sections where I'm just using OBS and not using any other software to make it look a little bit nicer. Because It is a nice 60 frame per second animation. I did forget to, actively speaking, change the icon's background material, so it is black in the background instead of gold. And I cannot tell you the instinct that I have to, actively speaking, go off and just fix that real quick. And how much it is tampered by the fact that, well, how GIF does its um, GIMP, how GIMP does its GIF animations, which is how I made that other one clear. If you want a good animation that is a GIF in Blender or Linux, I meant to say Linux there, but Blender also works. Installing GIMP inside of Linux Mint, or I think it's compatible with Windows, I'm pretty sure, works pretty well. But you have to make sure it is a low frame rate, because you have to name everyone with the frame rate that you're going to be adding, and that's kind of annoying. And also, the name also depicts where it is inside of the actual structure, so naming it yourself also helps. Either way, if you liked the video and you want to see more Blender content, I would love a comment on such structures. And if you did enjoy, like as you will. And if you didn't enjoy and you chose to dislike, dislike as you will. Actively speaking, it's a fun ride out here. And if you subscribe, welcome to the ride. And if you decide to share, this would be would greatly appreciate it. That's a joke. I probably actually prefer to probably. That's my own crap that I gotta deal with. Either way, I got my own stuff that I'm dealing with. You got your stuff that you're dealing with. Hope that you enjoyed the video. And don't die, it's no fun. Toodles.